The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
That's Vice President Kamala Harris presiding over the certification of Donald Trump's presidential victory yesterday. Joining me now is Texas Congressman Keith Self, a member of the House Veterans Affairs and Foreign Affairs Committees. He's also a retired Army Special Forces Lieutenant Colonel. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. A lot to get to this morning, but first, how was that, sitting in that chamber yesterday?
Fabulous, just fabulous. To certify Donald J. Trump's return to the White House, that was a big day, Maria. I was honored to be in the chamber for that day.
I'm sure. It was really like surreal seeing Kamala Harris deliver the news, and she was his opponent, and it was an ugly campaign. I want to get to discussing advancing Trump's agenda, but before we get into it, you were originally a no vote for House Speaker Mike Johnson. Then you spoke with President-elect Trump a couple times, I guess. You ended up voting for Mike Johnson on the first ballot. You said you had a lively discussion with Trump. What changed your mind? What happened?
Well, we had two conversations, as you just said. I told both Mike Johnson and President Trump what I was going to do before the vote, and he was about to hit a 5-iron, but we had a very good conversation about how to advance the Trump agenda. And he knew what I was going to do. And the second conversation was what I heard, and a lot of people said get in line, but what I heard was he was telling Mike and the two of us, Ralph Norman and myself, get the negotiations done, because he's in a hurry, and I get it. He's ready to go.
Yeah,
so what changed my mind is I got assurances from Mike Johnson. We got assurances from Mike Johnson that we will have a very strong negotiating team with the Senate when we go up against them for reconciliation.
So how do you want this to play out? I mean, how do you want reconciliation to look like?
Well, reconciliation was developed, just to remind everyone, to control spending. Now, everybody's focused on the fact that we don't have to get 60 votes in the Senate, but it was developed to control spending. So whatever we do, we've got to control spending in this. I'm looking forward to what DOGE can do. I'm looking forward to what is in there that will tell us that we are truly ready to get a handle on spending, because the $9 trillion in debt that have been pumped into the economy over the last 5 or 6 years are hurting us today. In your previous segment, you mentioned the higher interest rates that are being demanded by investors. That's partly because of government spending.
Well, the numbers are just astronomical, really. But
yes.
President Trump will be meeting with Senate Republicans tomorrow to discuss how to execute his agenda. He said yesterday to Hugh Hewitt he's now open to 2 reconciliation bills, but he still prefers, quote, one big, beautiful bill, which would include money for border security, extending tax cuts, energy policy, and raising the debt ceiling. How do you get all of that in there? I mean, House Natural Resources Committee Chairman Bruce Westerman revealed a permitting overhaul is unlikely to be included, instead saying that the bill would borrow from Congress's H.R. 1 instead. Democrats are already slamming this agenda. A DNC spokesperson claimed that the big bill will feature the worst and most unpopular parts of Project 2025. Of course, Trump is suggesting that Democrats may actually support his agenda. Watch this.
They're the only party I've ever heard that say we're going to raise your taxes. With that being said, I can't imagine that they would not approve. This would be the largest tax increase in the history of the world, okay? I mean, let alone in this country. And I can't imagine the Democrats would do that to this country and do that to the people just because they happen to dislike Republicans or me.
So, Congressman, what are your priorities? Do you favor a 1 bill or 2 bills? How do you want this to be executed?
Well, what I favor is not really in the mix, Maria. I will tell you, border security, I think, for the entire nation is the #1 priority, but a close second is to control spending. Those are the 2 existential threats that our nation faces today. So however we design it, and the more complex you make this bill, the harder it's going to be to bring everyone together. And frankly, I don't see the Democrats wanting to support the Trump agenda at all. So if we do not extend tax cuts, that will be the largest tax increase in history, as the president just said. So we have got to close the border. That is the first priority. But a close second is how do we control spending?
So what's the answer?
The answer is we've got to I think we need small wins early for President Trump. We don't have a very good record when it comes to 2 reconciliation bills in one Congress. But remember, we've got the next Congress 2 years from now through President Trump's 4-year term. So let's get some small wins. If that's one small, skinny reconciliation bill on the border, that's fine. If we can put some control of spending in the first bill, that's fine too. But we've got to extend those tax cuts sometime within the next 2 years, or the tax increase is going to be huge.
So are you prepared to support voting for raising or eliminating the debt ceiling?
The debt ceiling is a tough lift. I believe that we must have the debt ceiling because it is the only thing that communicates to the American people just how much debt we have accumulated.
Yeah.
We're accumulating 2.17 as of the last 365 days. We're accumulating $2.17 trillion every year. That's another $22 trillion over the next 10 years added to our $36 trillion. We have got to do something, Maria, to slow that down.
Well, I mean, you've just answered the question, and that is President Trump wants all this stuff in the bill early on. He wants the border money. He wants tax extensions. He wants the debt ceiling in there. You just said you're not going to support raising or eliminating the debt ceiling. You need that barrier there so people can understand the level of debt. So you're not going to support a big, beautiful bill with that in it, then?
Well, people need to understand if we extend the debt limit for just 1 year, right now, that would be like $2.5 trillion additionally in debt. If we go to 4 years, you're talking about at a minimum $5 trillion.
Yeah.
Unless we can do something to curtail government spending. Government spending is the issue here, Maria.
Yeah, I know. And it seems that the two sides cannot come to conclusion on how to do it. I mean, you've got an op-ed in the Washington Examiner how Congress can fix the cracks in America's financial foundation. You say that it's about the Department of Government efficiency, but that's not going to be enough. So what else are you looking at as your tools to control spending then?
Well, the reconciliation reminder is meant to control spending. What are we going to cut? Are we going to cut whole departments? Are we going to cut back missions? Are we going to move agencies out of D.C. so that they have a cheaper spend? Are we going to truly find fraud, waste, and abuse? So we need to design across the government what we are going to cut. And when I say cut very carefully.
Yeah. All right. We'll be watching your work. And I know this is a lot of work that you all are negotiating around. Thank you, Congressman. We'll be watching. Thank you. Keith Self
Thank you,
this
Maria.
morning in D.C.